Hey everyone, Red Rebel Jeff Jones here, and in this video I want to talk about the up and coming US presidential election that's going to take place on the 5th of November. Now I'm also going to be talking about some of the states that have opened the early voting and how it's looking for them. But I'm going to be honest, it's looking pretty interesting. Now, first off, I want to talk about the two candidates for a minute. And for those of you who've been following the channel, I think you guys have a bit of an idea about who I would vote for if I was voting. And that would be Trump. I would vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. And the reason being is that mainly pretty much policies really. Now there are some personality differences that I'm going to talk about as well, but it's mainly policies. So what policies do I think Trump has a better handle on? Well, first off, I think his immigration policy is going to be a lot better. I think what we've been seeing over the last 3.5 years, in which Kamala Harris has been the border czar, I think what's happened at the southern border has been a complete disaster. And this idea that the borders have been secure over the last few years under Biden and Harris, is just a complete farce, really. Now, another area, I think, policy area, is law and order. Now, when it comes to kind of enforcing the law, Kamala Harris does not have a good track record. As Tulsi Gabbard exposed in the, I think it was the 2020 one that she shut her down, I think, which was, I think that'll go down as one of the best moments of a Democratic primary debate, when it goes like because she goes, Kamala Harris has said she's proud of her prosecution history. I've some serious concerns about that history, and she goes through several of the scandals that Kamala Harris was involved in, including keeping a man who there's evidence that would release him to show he was innocent. She covered up that evidence until she was forced to release it. That's not someone who is for the rule of law. This is someone who used prisoners as cheap labour. And this has been shown, and Tulsi Gabbard has gone through the details of it a lot better than I have here, but that's another area where I think Kamala Harris is going to struggle. And there's one thing with Kamala Harris in this kind of campaign that it has irritated me, and that is she's running as if she hasn't been in office, as if she isn't in office. She's been the vice president for the last 3.5 years. And I think the one thing Trump could have done a lot better on is when Kamala Harris brought up policy positions in the debate, which she didn't do very often, by the way, but when she did, that was a golden opportunity every single time for him to go, why didn't you do that over the last 3.5 years? But he only said it once at his closing statements. And I think that was a big missed opportunity for him. Now, in terms of actually personality-wise, and I think this is important to say, if it was only on personality, if neither of them had policy positions and I didn't know anything about them other than their personality, I wouldn't vote for either of them, to be honest, because Kamala, Trump's personality, he's a bit of a dick, I feel, from what I've seen of him. His policy positions are really good, and I think he'll do a good job. but he can be a bit more nasty than he needs to be, I find, when it's really not necessary. But Kamala Harris has the same kind of attitude towards this, towards politics and towards life, I see, that Hillary Clinton does. And that is, well, especially in the campaigns, because she has this she never looks genuine. And that's one of the biggest concerns I've had about her. Where every time she tries to make a point, she has this attitude that she doesn't give a damn. Now, maybe she doesn't actually give a damn. But then when she's trying to act like she does, it's so obvious that it's put on. Especially with the laugh. I had to mention the laugh. If we're going to talk about Kamala Harris not being genuine, you have to talk about the feckin' laugh. It is one of the most irritating things ever, and it's so obvious it's not genuine. It is the fakest laugh ever. The only thing that can compare it is the fake smile that Hillary Clinton would put on. So how's the early voting going? Well, in quite a few battleground states, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, they're all actually leaning a bit towards Trump. It's not a huge kind of lead he has there, but it's a lead. But that's also quite interesting, because Republicans don't get leads in the early voting. They get the chunk of their votes on the day. I think that's caused by enthusiasm. There's enthusiasm about Trump's campaign. There's not that much enthusiasm around Kamala Harris's campaign. Now, I'm not surprised by that, because there's not much enthusiasm in Kamala Harris. So, there's not much energy in her. So, I think it's a good indicator, but it's something that Trump and the Republican campaign needs to kind of take it into context. There's a lot of time yet to the election, and they need to keep pushing the vote. So what do you guys think? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and do not forget to subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. It's going to be an interesting election, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure how it's going to go.